Yo, what it is the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing, back at you with another one. Here to talk about one of my favorite fighters of today's time. I do like his brother better, but it don't matter. We talking about the one, the only, future of boxing himself, Mr. Lions Only, Mr. Jermall Charlo, man. Definitely gotta talk about this, man. So it says, according to source, that Jamie Munguia has been offered a Jermall Charlo fight for either June or July by the PBC. Now, this is something I was kind of wondering about Jermall Charlo, because the thing about Jermall Charlo is he hadn't fought since May of last year against Montiel. Now, the thing is, this would be a good fight, but the problem is I know that Jamie Munguia is not going to accept this fight. Now, if we're going off of history, man, it just seems like De La Hoya is not really so quick to just put Jamie Munguia. He's not quick to throw him to the wolves. And part of that could be because Golden Boy itself is, well, it's coming down. It's not, the towers are crumbling down, So I don't necessarily think, if we're going off of history, I don't think that Jamie Munguia is going to fight Jermall Charlo next. Here's why. Here's another reason why. Jamie Munguia. So it's been noted that Demetrius Andrade is now moving up to 168. So he will vacate his belt at his WBO belt at 160. Now I do find it mighty funny how Jamie Munguia was Demetrius Andrade's mandatory, and Demetrius Andrade was pulling for the Jamie Munguia fight. Fight me, Jamie Munguia, fight me. Then as soon as Demetrius Andrade moves up, Jamie Munguia makes a statement saying, "Oh, it sucks that Demetrius Andrade moved up because I was looking forward to challenging myself in a fight with Demetrius Andrade." Man, stop the cap, Jamie Munguia. And I used to love Jamie Munguia. I used to be a big fan of him. But since they moved him to the zone and shit, it's just, he moves funny to me. Or De La Hoya moves funny. I kind of look at Jamie Munguia. That's why I say I really can't be mad at. I'm more mad at De La Hoya than I am Jamie Munguia, because I really look at Jamie Munguia the way I look at how Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby are moving Tank Davis. I'm not mad at Tank Davis. I'm mad at Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby, because it's like, bro, y'all are not putting my man in these big fights that he wants. And I think Tank can watch these dudes. I think Tank will beat Devin Haney in the late round stoppage. In the later rounds. I think Tank would be shit, bro, just being honest, I think Tank will beat Lomachenko, but they're not putting him in these fights so we can see that. And the same goes with Jamie Munguia, bro. De La Hoya, it's like they're not in a rush. This dude has 39 fights, bro. Actually, I think 40 now. 40 or 39 fights. And this dude still has not fought a top guy. I think the biggest name on his resume would probably be, Gabe Rosado? Like, man, come on, bro. Like, so it's just, I don't like the way De La Hoya is protecting Jamie Munguia. And it's funny because nobody really talks about that. You hear people talk about the Devin Haney's, the Tank Davis, the Jermall Charlos. You hear people talk about them, David Benavidez. But nobody wants to talk about the Jamie Munguias of the world, the Ryan Garcias of the world. Like, man, come on, bro. These guys need to step up, bro. And I feel like with 39 fights, bro, and Jamie Munguia is 25 years old, it's time. It's time to step up, bro. So I find that mighty funny, but this is another reason why I don't think this fight is gonna happen. Jamie Munguia, with the record of 39-0 with 30 knockouts, or 40-0 with 30 knockouts, one of those two, now has an opportunity to fight for the vacant WBO. He had the opportunity. Let's not get it construed. Jamie Munguia had the opportunity to fight for the WBO plenty of times. Demetrius Andrade wanted that fight. Demetrius Andrade wanted to fight Jamie Munguia, but they never wanted to go that route and fight Demetrius Andrade. So let's not get it construed. Jamie Munguia had plenty of opportunities to fight for the WBO. Now he's taking it because Demetrius Andrade is moving up to 168. So I do feel like what's going to end up happening is Jamie Munguia is going to fight a no-name fighter. I guarantee you it's going to be a fighter that we don't know, and he's going to fight him, and he's going to then get the WBO belt. Now, it's a good news. It's kind of a double-edged sword with that, because it's like, yeah, we won't get the fight with Jermall Charlo, right? We won't get the fight with Jermall Charlo. However, Jamie Munguia gets a belt, maybe. I have to say maybe, because De La Hoya moves Jamie Munguia very funny. Maybe we'll get the fight with Jermall Charlo in a unification bout later this year. But I'm not 100% confident in that matter. So here's my thing. From Jermall Charlo, I would love to see Jermall Charlo just be more active. I mean, dude, listen, you can't be. I was having a good chat with one of my dudes the other day. Actually, it was yesterday. It was last night. And I was telling him how I felt like, bro, like Jermall Charlo deserves a fight with Canelo. And he was saying, well, yeah, he deserves a fight. He does, but he's not making it any easier by not being active, and that's 100% true. Like, bro, Jermall hasn't fought since May of last year, and we still don't even know. He still doesn't have a fight date, up to date. He doesn't have a fight date announced or anything like that. So it's like, it kind of sucks, man, because it's like Jermall is not making an easy case for us to argue that he deserves a Canelo Alvarez fight. He needs to fight more. And in the middleweight division, me personally, bro, the middleweight division, it's a lot to offer out there. You got Triple G, who's fighting Murata. They're fighting for in a unification bout. Triple G having an IBF, Murata having a WBA. That's a unification bout. Jermall Charlo could possibly, hopefully, if I don't know. I mean, right now, I know he had the WBC sanctioned him to fight. I can't remember the guy's name that he fought that they sanctioned him to fight, but it was the guy that just beat Derevchenko. So I'm not mad at that fight. Carlos Adams, that's his name, from the Dominican Republic. The WBC has announced that Carlos Adams is likely to be Jermall Charlo's mandatory, or they're ordering that fight. But even with the mandatory, that doesn't mean that he's gonna get that fight right away. That means he has, like, I think up into a year where he can make the fight with Carlos Adams. And Carlos Adams, that's a good fight. Carlos Adams proved himself in a Sergey Derevchenko fight. That's a good fight. But I just think that, man, Jermall needs to be more active. I mean, he has a list of fighters that he can fight, and they need to pursue that. I would like to see PBC keep dude more active. Furthermore, what makes this fight more interesting to me is, it kind of stops the whole notion of these guys just chasing Canelo waiting for a payday. Like I said, obviously, I do feel like Jermall deserves a fight with Canelo, but my thing is, if Canelo doesn't fight him, then, you can't just sit around and wait for dude. These guys, like I've always been preaching, need to fight each other and just stop waiting on Canelo, because at the end of the day, man, Canelo's legacy is cemented. It's already cemented. I guarantee you, I promise you, Canelo's going in the Hall of Fame. He's already cemented. What is your legacy going to be wrapped around? Don't be like a Triple G. Triple G spent his entire career basically chasing Canelo and doing whatever Canelo wanted. Triple G even had the opportunity to become undisputed at middleweight, right? Because Billy Joe Saunders, at the time, then wanted to fight Triple G, right? But De La Hoya came in and said, if Triple G fights Billy Joe Saunders, then the Canelo fight is off. And it's like, dude, and that always pissed me off, because it's like, dude, if you fight Billy Joe Saunders and get all the belts and become undisputed, bro, Canelo has no other choice but to take your demands, bro. Why not fight Billy Joe? But he chose to fight Canelo instead. Don't be like that, bro. Create your own legacy. This is your chance to create your own legacy. Put yourself in a position to where Canelo has to fight you. It's just like Amir Khan. Amir Khan was chasing Floyd, wanting Floyd fight, but he never put himself in a position to where Floyd had to fight him. He didn't fight no top fighters at the welterweight division. If you go to Amir Khan's resume right now, at welterweight, at 147, the biggest name that he fought would possibly be Devin Alexander or Luis Collazo. Devin Alexander, at the time, then coming off of a loss to Sean Porter, and Sean Porter not only beat him, but took his belt. Devin Alexander was the IBF champion at 147. Sean Porter came and took his belt. Then, that's the biggest name on Amir Khan's resume. So it's like, Amir Khan didn't do anything to put himself in a position to where Floyd Mayweather had to see him. And I don't want to see the same with these guys, with Jermall Charlo, David Benavidez. Man, just keep submitting your legacy and put yourself in a position to where Canelo then has to see you. So I definitely would love this fight, but I doubt this fight happens just because of the history of Golden Boy. I don't think Jamie Munguia, they don't want that smoke with Jermall Charlo. They're going to go the WBO route, get the vacant WBO belt. And hopefully, maybe later this year, we can get a unification. That's all I got for today. Subscribe. Hey, but what do I know?